Welcome to Brilliantly British. Today we are going to be making homemade marmalades. You don't believe me? Check out these funky lids. That's the proof. Not too long ago, fridges didn't exist, and so us humans had to find a way to preserve our precious crop. And so we came up with this method of jarring fruit cooked in a hell of a lot of sugar under high heat. And yeah, you get this amazing thing. And I have two examples here. This was my first try and it actually turned out wonderfully, the traditional orange marmalade. And then more recently, grapefruit marmalade. The methods are pretty much the same. Any differences between them I will explain in depth in the description. But for now, let me show you how. For today's marmalade, we're going to need some sugar. In this case, we're going to do things a little bit differently, but this works across the board for all citrus fruits. We've got some grapefruit here. And of course, you will need some water. And to stay hydrated whilst you cook, a nice cup of tea. First things first, we need to get the rind, the skin off of our grapefruit, separating the flesh. The simple way to do that is to slice a grapefruit like so. Make a little slot in the top and then be wary of the fact that this may spray juice. Just be careful and just run your thumb behind the flesh and everything will just come off like so. Easy. Now that we've separated the flesh from the skin, we're now going to thinly slice our grapefruit skins here. And the reason we're going to slice them up is because that's going to give us the unique texture of a marmalade. And also, before we even begin to make the marmalade, we're going to quickly blanch them, the skins that is, to remove some of the bitterness. I ended up using and slicing about half of the skins that came off of the grapefruits because we actually ended up with too much. Now what I'm going to do is put this into a pot, pour some boiling water on it, and then blanch them on a rolling boil for about 5 minutes. If you want them less bitter, go as far as 10. And if you even want them less bitter, to completely remove all bitterness from them, then you drain the water and repeat the process again. While the rinds are blanching over there, we're now going to remove some of the white on the grapefruit flesh. We want to remove all of these parts here and some of these parts on the back. Of course, as well, remove any seeds that you see on the inside. We definitely don't want that in our marmalade. I would advise cutting the pieces into this kind of size. And the reason we remove the seeds is obviously because we don't want seeds in our marmalade. Just in time, our rinds have finished blanching. They have softened ever so slightly because the key thing here is just to blanch them to remove the bitterness, but we don't actually want to cook them because we're going to cook everything together. And if they cook a little bit now and then cook more later on, they'll just disappear and you'll lose the characteristic rind that you see in marmalades. And so now we're going to put these together, weigh them so that we now know how much sugar to put in before cooking our marmalade. Everything together, when weighed, comes in at 796 grams, and that is exactly how much sugar we need. Easy as that. In our pot now, we'll go all of our ingredients, and then we want to add enough water just to the level of the fruit. You want to continue stirring until the sugar is dissolved, and you want to bring this to the boil. Learning from my previous mistake, with a high-sided pot, we're going to reduce this marmalade down to thicken it, stirring every now and again, ensuring that it doesn't burn or stick to the bottom. Whilst the marmalade was cooking, I put a small plate into the freezer. It's on this plate now. I put 2 or 3 spoons of marmalade to see if it vaguely holds a line. When it cools, that'll indicate its readiness. Traditional orange marmalade, fruity. You can tell these are good oranges. Quality of the fruit when making marmalade is so important. Not too bitter, because just like with this one that you've seen today, we blanched the rind, and sweet, Delicious. Now for the grapefruit twist. You can tell it's the same family of fruit, but the taste is completely different. This is more, this is much more bitter, which I actually appreciate a lot more. And it's actually, in a strange way, much more fruity. So this is definitely my favorite out of the two, but both of them are delicious. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brilliantly British, in which I've shown you how to make marmalade. No, I've got to do that again. Didn't mention the like, didn't mention the subscribe, didn't mention nothing. Like this episode, subscribe please to this channel, and also share any posts regarding this channel far and wide. I assure you they will be making a comeback because, well, I have to show you what us Brits do with marmalade. But until then, bye-bye. Delicious things. No.